Okay, today we are moving on to the transformations unit. That's going to deal with shapes. It's going to deal with a coordinate grid. It's going to deal with angles and talking about congruence and words like translate, reflect, rotate, things that actually we've kind of started learning back in second grade, if you can believe it or not. So I'm going to talk about the big idea and then about the assignment, the first assignment for transformations. So if you take a shape, here's a shape. It's a triangle and it's a right triangle. And if you notice, I even put angle measures in it because we're going to be answering questions about this in our first transformations lesson. There's a 90-degree angle, there's a 50-degree angle, and there's a 40-degree angle, because all three angles in any triangle on the face of the planet always has the sum, or added up to, 180 degrees. So this one is 90, that's 50, that's 40. Just kind of stating that before we begin. Okay, so if you take a shape and translate it, well, translate means slide it. So I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to simply slide it. And I might slide it down. I might slide it up, I might slide it over. Okay, I might slide it down. But you notice that the right angle is still here, the 40-degree angle is here, and the 50-degree angle is here. That doesn't move. It can go up and down and right and left, but it can't turn and it can't flip. Okay, that's what a translation is. I like to talk about it like it's a glass of water. If you turn the water or glass, it's going to spill. And of course, if you flip the glass, it can spill. So translating it just means to slide it. Reflect it means to flip it. So I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to actually flip it over that y-axis that I have there in this coordinate grid. And that's called a reflection. It's just a flip. And it doesn't only flip across that y-axis, it can also flip over the x-axis. Flip, 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 flip. Reflect, 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 reflect. So that's reflection. Rotation, rotating it means to turn it. So I'm going to turn it. So look where my 40-degree angle is here. I'm going to turn it once to the right, which means I'm going clockwise. That's called a rotation. I can rotate it again, one more 90-degree angle, or 90-degree turn, and that turns, and now it's facing upside down, that little 40-degree angle. I'm going to rotate it again, and now that 40-degree angle is facing the left, and then when I come back up, it comes back to its original position, and that's a rotation or a turn. And by the way, I can also go counterclockwise. I can go backwards on the clock, rotating it this way, this way, this way, and this way. So that's called a rotation. All right, so I said, if you take a shape and you translate it, you flip it, you rotate it, then, all right, and this is the important part because this is what you're going to be saying in all of your problems on the assignment that goes with this. Then the angles do not change. Well, we already know that. We could look at this and say, did my 40-degree angle or 50-degree angle or 90-degree angle change once I flipped it? Whether I translated it, I reflected it, I rotated it. No, the angles always stay the same because the shape has not changed at all. All I've done is just turn it, rotate it, translate it, or reflect it. That's all I've done. Also, the lengths of the sides do not change. Well, yeah, if the angles aren't going to change, the lengths of the sides aren't going to change. All I'm doing is just moving it around. I'm just moving it. I'm moving it, and I pick it up and I move it. It doesn't make it a different size shape. And the original figure and the final figure. So what that means is this is where the original figure is. If I say I'm going to translate it 5 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I've taken it and I've moved it. This is where it originally was, and this is where the final figure is. So that's what this is saying. The original figure and the final figure, after you translate, reflect, or rotate it, are congruent, the same. The big thing is to remember congruence means exactly the same. So yep, no matter what, this shape, I move it, yep, it's still congruent. And if I turn it or reflect it, yep, or if I rotate it, yes, it's all congruent. Congruent just means the same, okay? And then last, if sides were parallel before moving, the sides are still parallel. Okay, so I'll take this shape. I realized I needed to have something that has, this has parallel sides and that has parallel sides. And all that's saying is, if I'm gonna slide this, the two sides that were parallel here and here, they're still parallel. Even if I turn it, they're still parallel. Doesn't matter what I do to it, I am not changing the actual dimensions of the shape. I'm simply moving it. So, why did I say all this? And again, I always highly suggest that you write these notes down just to have them and keep them, because that's what we would be doing in class, right? But these are the notes for the assignment that I'm going to show you now. Okay, these 10 problems are going to be exactly the same format, meaning we're going to have grids with shapes and we're going to have statements about the figures over here. We have to say true or false. So when you know how to do one of them, you know how to do all of them. Now this is for translated figures, which means they're sliding or, sliding the figure. They're translating the figure, okay? So it says to translate the figure 4 units to the right. That's right, I forgot. You do have to do that piece as well. But I'm gonna do it actually on the lesson for you, so you'll see. Now, they want you to, you're gonna be able to do this electronically, of course, which will actually be easier, but this is super easy to do on paper as well. There's a grid, all right? And there's a point, 4 different points with these sides, right? I'm gonna pick up each point and I'm just gonna, it says translate, which means slide the figure 4 units to the right. Well, I'm gonna pick up this point and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna make that point. And this point, the second point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you figured out, there's 2 boxes wide, so I'm just gonna make sure I have a line that's 2 boxes wide. Okay, this point, 4 to the right. Every point gets lifted. It's like you're picking up the entire piece and moving it 4 boxes to the right. So for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's also 2 boxes wide. And I'll just show you, it proves that I will be right here. From this point, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And then you'll be picking up the shape by the points, or picking up the shape, I'm not sure yet. You just count, take a point, any point. Well, on Alex, you can just pick any point. I like to do the ones that are closest to the right if I'm going right, and to the left if I'm going left. So I'll pick it up and I move it 4 points, 4 boxes to the right and drop it. And then I have translated the figure 4 units to the right. Units just mean the little boxes. Okay, so answer questions, true, false. The final angle measures are the same as the original. Final is the one that we picked up and moved. This is the final, and this is the original. Well, yeah, we didn't remember all that you just saw in the notes. Angle measures do not change. They are exactly the same. So they're the same, true. I'm looking for they're the same, or they're shorter, or they may not. You know, that's when it's false, because the truth is the angles don't change, the sides don't change, and this one says they're shorter. They're not, they're the same. So that's false. Oops, I should probably not check it. I'll fill it in. The original figure, there's the original, and the final figure may not be congruent. That's not true. They're always going to be congruent. All you did was pick it up. They're the same. You picked it up and moved it. That's all. And if two sides are parallel in the original, then they may not be parallel in the final. False. They're not going to be any different than the original. The final and the original are the same in every way, shape, and form. So that's what you have to look for. If they are the same, if you see words like the same, true. If you see shorter, longer, may not be, false. Okay? And this one, do you see what I made a mistake here? I said the original figure and final figure may not be congruent. That is false, but I'm not sure why I put it in the truth. column, but I should have put it in the false. That's false, that's false, that's false, that's true, okay? I won't mess up on the next one, I promise. Here we go. If you catch me on this, you can make a comment in Google Classroom and let me know. Okay, translate the figure 6 units up. Take the shape. I'm just gonna pick one point. I'm just gonna pick up this point, and I'm gonna go 6 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I know this is 2 across, so I got that much. Now I'm gonna pick up this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's 2 across. And I do this, and I have translated it up 6 units. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Answer the questions. If the 2 sides are parallel, then those sides are parallel in the final. True. Final angle measures are the same as the original. True. Final side lengths are shorter. False. I can stop right there. They're not shorter. The original figure and the final are congruent. True. Okay? Okay. There's one more problem on translating, and it's a different shape. I might as well go ahead and do it here. Okay, so pick up the shape and go 5 units down. I'm going to go from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the other thing you can do is you can always look at these numbers here. I'm 1 number above the 0, and I'm 1 box above 0, and I'm 4 boxes below. That would be 5 boxes altogether. All right, so that can also help you. Again, we're translating the whole figure 5 units down. It's 3 boxes across, 1, 2, 3. And then it's 2 boxes tall, 1, 2. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just saying it's 1 box wide. I don't have to go 5 boxes down, 5 boxes down. I don't have to do that. I can just now take it off of my shape. 2 tall, 1 wide, and then draw the diagonal. You're not going to be drawing it though. You're going to be picking it up on ALEKS. But when you get into algebra, you will have to know how to draw it. And if we have any time in class, then we will practice drawing it as well by hand. Okay. Okay, 2 sides are parallel in the figure, then they may not be. That's false. See how I'm just going through and looking for code words. Side lengths are the same. True. The angle are larger. False. The original figure and final figure may not be. False. Congruent. That's false. Okay. Now we're going to reflect. All the same questions. It's about the angles, about the side lengths. It's about may not or may be congruent, and it's about being parallel lines. Okay, so you could heck before you even do that, you can do this. Final angle measures are the same. We know that's going to be true. The final lengths are longer. That's going to be false. Final leg may not be congruent. They may not be. That's false. And if they're parallel, they may not be parallel. That's false. But we'll do that in a second after we go ahead and reflect. And it says reflect across the y-axis. You have to remember which is the x and which is the y. This is the y-axis. So you're going to reflect that figure not up, but you're going to reflect it to the right. It's going to look like this. If it's here, we're going to reflect it over the y-axis. Now, here's the easiest way to do it. So this is 4 away from 0. How do I know? I didn't even count it. I just said, look, this is 4 away from 0. So it means it's got to be 4 from the to the right as well, over the y-axis, which is the pink line. So I'm going to go out to 4, and I'm going to keep the height that it had there, and it's how many boxes wide? It's 3 boxes wide. 1, 2, 3. And then this is 8 boxes over, down. This point is down at -8. And I know I'm just going 4 boxes to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I could also just know I'm going to be straight below that line, that point up there. And then there's that point. All I did was say, well, I know it's 3 boxes wide. You don't have to make it hard. And there you go. That's reflecting this shape over the y-axis to this side, okay? And just so you know, if I labeled this point A, okay, then that point A would be flip over to here. And we call that A prime. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'll talk about that in another lesson. But this is how I know this is my copy, because it has that little apostrophe up there. All right. So this is how it would look if I'm not just sliding it. I have to show that if that was point A, I flipped it over. So like if this was, see this, if I'm showing this side right here. All right. If I flip this over, it's now over here. Okay. All right. All right. Number 5, you're going to reflect again, this time over the x-axis. Okay. So the x-axis is here. All right. And that means that you're going to flip it down. Okay. So right now I'm way over here at 4 and I'm at that line, and that means that's 1, 2, that's 3 boxes up. It says 2, 4, 6, 8, but in between there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 3 boxes up. That means from here, I'm gonna go 3 boxes down. I'm just matching where that point is. It was right here on the 4, so I'm gonna go come over here at 4 and go down 3. I know it's 2 boxes wide. Okay, and I know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big boxes tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's 2 wide down here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, not 2, it's 1. Okay, sorry. And then I'm ready to connect all my dots. There you go. Okay, so the little skinny top is at the bottom, and the fat bottom is at the top. And there you go. That's over the x-axis. All right, and I know I didn't answer after I did on the last question, but we did it actually before we reflected. So again, if the 2 sides are parallel, they may not be. That's false. Final side lengths are the same. That's true. Final measures are larger. That's false. They're the same. And the original figure may not be congruent. That's false. They are congruent. It's a true statement. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over the y-axis again. So the biggest thing here that people make the mistake of, they forget, they just kind of go, oh yeah, so flip it up. No, 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 no. That's the x-axis. You have to remember, x is going horizontally and y is going vertically. Okay, so this says reflect the figure across the y-axis. I always kind of feel like these are always easier. I'm 4 to the right, so I'm going 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's 2 boxes wide, so I'm going to go out 2 boxes. Remember, I don't want to put 2 boxes, I don't want to put it going 2 boxes this way, because I have to be 4 away from the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where my length begins. Okay, so it's right there. Now it's right there. It's 2 wide, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I just connect all the points, and I have now reflected it. Okay, if this was point A, okay, oops, actually, if this was point A here, when I flip it, it's going to be right there. It's on the left now, but now it's on the right. That's my copy. That's my, what we call my image, and that's called my pre-image. Again, I'll do that a different day for vocab. Okay, final side lengths are the same as the original, true. Final angle measures are the same as the original, true. If the 2 sides are parallel, then those sides are parallel in the final figure, true. And the original figure and final figure may not be congruent, that's false. Okay, don't be tricked. Sometimes they could all be true, who knows, or they could all be false. I doubt it, but don't, just know what you know, and then just answer the questions and just trust that you're right. Okay, okay. Now, this is the rotations. We're moving on to rotations, and we do need to know what clockwise and counterclockwise is. Okay, so when you're going clockwise, it's going to look like this. It's like here's 12 o'clock, and if you have a second hand, you're going to go this way. That's the way the clock works. That's clockwise. So you're turning this way for clockwise, okay? That's clockwise, all right? Counterclockwise is backwards, okay? and that goes this way. Here's the cool thing. With the tool that you're gonna have to move these shapes, it's gonna like pick it up. It's gonna have like a little arm, like my pen is like the arm, and with like a little flag on the end of it. And I'll try to recreate it like with this. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna allow you to just do it like this, okay? And it's gonna do it along the axis. So whatever axis it's coming off of, like the arm. So it'll go like, this would be where it would have the starting position. And you pick up the tool, it will pick up your shape. And if you want to go one turn, you just go to the next line. There's the first line on our shape here, and then you can go to the next line, and then it'll allow you to go to the next line, and it'll allow you to go to the next line. If you just pick it up and practice it, it'll make total sense. But I'm going to show you one more time. If I do one turn, my tool is going to need to go all the way to the next line, which is now on the y-axis. And if I turn it a second turn, and by the way, if I do one turn, that's called a 90-degree turn, because think of the 90-degree angle. It's going to go a 90-degree turn. And if I do a 180-degree turn, I'm going to do another turn. That's 90 plus 90. And if I'm going to do a third turn, that turns into 270, because 3 turns of 90 degrees is 270 degrees. And this one says 270 degrees clockwise, okay? What you know is your shape, every time it turns, all right, or rotates. And if this is, again, the 270 degree, we're going to do 3 turns to the right, okay? So you pick up your tool and you'll go 1 to hit the first line. As long as you know you're going clockwise, you're going to get this right no matter what, okay? And then 2, and then 3. When you've done 3 turns, your shape is going to end up in 3 quadrants away, all right? Each of these are quadrants. So we're in this quadrant. We turn once, we get here to this quadrant. If we turn twice, so that's 1 turn. If we do 2 turns, my shape ends up in this quadrant, but we have to do 3 turns. So here's the 3rd turn, and my shape is going to end up in this quadrant, okay? So when it turns, it'll end up here, and then you just drop it. You click on it, and it'll give you the final shape, okay? All right, so now we answer the questions again. Side lengths are longer, false. Angle measures are larger, false. Original figure and final are congruent, true. 2 sides are parallel, they may not be, that's not true. If they're parallel, they'll still be parallel, okay? The next one, rotate the figure 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. Each turn is 90, that's 1 turn, okay? Clockwise means going that way, because remember, clockwise is going this way, okay? But we only, again, wherever they have your little tool resting on which line, all you have to do is just do 1 turn with that. Let's just say, we are, the line looks like this, and I'm gonna do 1 turn to the right, and now where's with 1 turn, I'm going to end up here. So this is where my final shape's going to end up. It's going to be in this quadrant. And the tool will turn it for you. You don't have to worry about, well, wait, doesn't this have to, this is a different shape, doesn't it have to like turn on its side or anything? You know, Alex will do it for you, all right? Then answer all the questions. The same questions we've already answered, okay? The last one, this is rotate 270 degrees counterclockwise. That's backwards, y'all. That's not going like a clock. That's going backwards, okay? Like that. And that's 3 turns backwards, okay? So we're here, and let's just say this is where my little stick is that's laying along the axis, and I'm going to turn this. And remember, if I go clockwise, I'll be going the wrong direction. I have to go backwards. So I'm going to go counterclockwise 1. Okay, so that's 1 turn. Going this way is 1 turn. And then 2. It's going to go over here. That's 2 turns. And I have to go one more because 90 and 90 and 90. 90 and 90 and 90 makes 270. That's my 3rd turn. So it's going this way, and this is where my final figure lands. And then answer the questions. And that's it, all right? I know that's a lot, but it's, as you can tell, it's not difficult. So that's the entire lesson. All right.